Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services, including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
You know, Tom, as we're working in long-term care planning, one of the big sources of confusion we have is the differentiation between Medicaid, aid and attendance through the VA, and VA nursing homes.
That's a good point, and they get thrown around a lot, especially by veterans who think they're all available to them, and they're different animals altogether.
And frankly, most of the VA nursing homes in this area are not really places that are great places relative to the other places that you see. You have to have a certain service-related disability level, and if you don't have that, you're not going to qualify for it. So you may say, well, my friend got in the VA nursing home, but it doesn't mean you as a veteran are going to get into one.
Well, that's a good point. And not only that, but for husband and wife, you got to look at the convenience to that healthy spouse visiting and overseeing care. And if you've got to drive 2 hours, it's not an ideal situation.
And then, of course, one of the big challenges that we have here is the methodology currently, with a big emphasis on the word currently for qualifying for VA aid and attendance, is total disconnect, totally different than the qualification for Medicaid.
That's a good point. And in the heart of that is transfer rules that are imposed in the penalties and so on gifting situations. In the Medicaid world, major consequences. In the VA world, currently, no consequences.
With an emphasis on the word currently, because there are proposed rules under the VA, and in fact, those transfer restrictions will be stricter and more difficult to comply with than the Medicaid rules.
And we're not even sure when they will go in effect and whether they would grandfather in prior transfers. So there is a period of risk here, and so you need to worry about that, especially if you're being sold some product through some VA process where there would be a very difficult time getting it back.
You know, when you look at, the veteran, that aid and attendance is around $1,800 a month, which can be applied to in-home care or to assisted living. But the strategies of some of these agencies that sell you these products would cause you to be disqualified for a nursing home benefit, which could be $10,000 to $12,000 a month. So you really have to be careful that you don't engage in a strategy that might qualify you for a low benefit while disqualifying you for the larger dollar benefit.
That's an excellent point, because in many cases these VA groups and sales groups are focusing solely on that annuity sale. They're not looking at the big picture and what happens if that individual who is in personal care is now in nursing, and you have to look at the big picture.
And then, of course, when you're looking at a spousal case, which is a little under $1,200 per month versus a $12,000 nursing home bill, for you to engage in a strategy that both might be usurped and not be legal anyway because of the proposed VA rules changes, and then further, you're trying to qualify someone for a very small benefit while putting a large benefit at risk.
Yeah, and that's why you need to make sure that any technique or any plan has a plan B so that you can transition to those more expensive types of care.
And the ability to undo some of the strategy if you end up being wrong, and these product sales ones are almost impossible to undo.
And expensive to undo if you even can do it, so you got to be careful.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Save Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to the special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Leslie Wagner from the Carroll County Bureau on Aging and Disabilities. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, whenever we have somebody on from an area agency on aging, we always want to talk about the fact that even if we're talking about a program that is not in your county, every county in the United States has an area agency on aging.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And what's its responsibilities?
Well, its responsibilities are to support the older adults in their community. Some include those that are individuals that are disabled. And there's lots of fabulous programs out there that connect them to services and products.
And one of the interesting issues here is many times people think that it's only intended for people of modest means.
No, that's incorrect. There are so many things that your area agency can help you with, such as one is for caregivers. There is a caregiver support network at most of your agencies, and they'll help those that have the need where they have to support their own family.
Health insurance advocates, congregate meetings, lots of different things.
Yes.
That had nothing to do with means.
No, sir, no.
All right, now, one of the fun things about area agencies on aging is many of them support senior fairs that
Yes.
will allow people to see all kinds of things going on. So first of all, I know you have one coming up, so let's start with the date and finish with the date. So what's the date?
Yes, it's Wednesday, April 4th, 2018.
And where is it going to be?
It'll be in the Shipley Arena at the Carroll County Ag Center,
All right, and what are the hours?
9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
All right, so let's talk about what's going to be going on there.
We've got a lot of great things going on. This year we are highlighting assistive technology. The Maryland Technology Assistance Program is going to be there with lots of goodies to demonstrate to those that are interested in those types of products. They'll also have information available for a loan program that the state of Maryland offers.
So one of the first things we want to emphasize here is a person who is of modest means can say, well, I can't buy any of that stuff, should not take that approach. It's
No.
designed to help them.
Absolutely not. And assistive technology is there to help you be more independent, those in the older population as well as those that are disabled.
So let's talk about some of the types of assistive technology we expect to be there.
There's lots of different types. It could be an app on your iPad or phone. Maybe it's a magnifier screen for your computer, an enlarged mouse. They also have pill boxes with alarms.
Now the alarm would do what?
Well, it'll tell you when you need to take your medicine, and it'll also be an alarm if you don't.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, let's go on some of the other stuff.
We attended a little workshop on it, and one of the things that they recommended that I didn't even think about is something as simple as putting glow-in-the-dark tape on the floor of your bedroom to your bathroom. So there's to help you at night, but there's lots of different ideas that you wouldn't think about.
Now, you don't want to turn on the lights because it disrupts your sleep, but in the meantime, you put yourself at risk. So
Exactly.
a little balance here.
Yes.
Okay, so what are some of the other things they were talking about?
We're also having alternative therapies this year, complementary therapies, and that'll be in conjunction with our health screening. So we'll have massage therapists there, those that do Reiki.
Now, what is Reiki?
Reiki, and I actually had to look this up. It is, it's a Japanese type of therapy, and it's with your hands, and it's the energy from your hands to your body. So you don't actually touch the person, but there is healing in that. And so we'll have therapists there that can show our attendees that aspect. We also have aromatherapy that will be given for free in addition to our health screenings.
All right, and so what's the cost of the attendance?
It's free.
That number again is? Free.
Yes, free. That's your phone number. Yes, it's free.
All right, and I assume parking is easy and plentiful?
Yes, parking is very easy. We have shuttle buses that run all day, handicap accessible from the door of your car straight to the door of the Shipley Arena.
All right, once again, date and time again?
It is Wednesday, April 4th, 2018, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and it'll be in the Shipley Arena at the Carroll County Ag Center.
I want to thank you for taking time to appear on our program. Sounds like a lot of fun, Leslie.
Thanks.
Thank you. More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Guys, I thought you were supposed to be working in the yard.
But Dad, just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com.
If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Pam Dalton, Development Manager, Western Maryland Chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. Welcome to the show, Pam.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I think I passed the mini competency test getting that title.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what the Alzheimer's Association is doing.
Well, the Alzheimer's Association is the world's leading voluntary health organization dealing with issues to do with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. A lot of what we're focused on, the vision is obviously we want to rid the world of Alzheimer's disease. And part of what we're doing is focusing on research. We also enhance the support and care for all of those who are affected. That means not just individuals with dementia, but their caregivers, their family members, that sort of thing. But we also work a lot on advocacy at the federal, local, and state level, trying to do different things that are important that we see, but trying to get a group of advocates to focus on that. And some of that advocacy can also turn into fundraising. As far as we have the semi-postal stamp that was just approved by one of our steadfast advocates for years. She has done that. So that's gone through the postal service there. And research, of course, critical research to make sure that we can stay on top of what's happening with Alzheimer's disease and what is the best way that we can get things to make this happen.
And of course, we talk a lot of big picture stuff there, but there's also a lot of, right down at the personal level as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is a person's in a crisis in the middle of the night, is there something they can do?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a 24/7 helpline number. And that, I'll just go ahead and give that now, if that's
Sure.
okay, but that's 800-272-3900. And again, it's 24/7, and they're always ready to take the calls. If daytime people want to call, stop in the office. We do have a lot of that. We have a lending library at the office, so we can talk with you, and there's also in-home consultations that we do. But they can come in, figure out what it is they need, what's passed. We'll do referrals for them to help. Different things involved with education as well for people who need training, professionals, family caregivers, and that sort of thing. So
And if
we're
you're
always
having
there
that
for them.
if you're having that meltdown in the middle of the night, it doesn't matter that you didn't have a prior relationship. Somebody's going to be there to talk to you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so then as the process begins, one of the things you mentioned, which is very important, is that it's the caregivers that really need an awful lot of support, and that's part of what your organization's focused on. You do it by some support groups. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, we do. We have different support groups in different areas at different times. There are also support groups that are geared toward different parts, where you are in this journey with Alzheimer's. Say you're dealing with someone who has early onset Alzheimer's, so there's a group for that. And there are different locations, like I said, that will help out, different facilitators and different programs as things come in. A lot of times they'll do support groups, but a lot of the facilities are also doing quarterly programs where they'll touch on one thing in specific. So there definitely is something for everyone. But I have found since I've been there, a lot of it has been the phone support. So there's also online resources as well. If they just visit alz.org, there's online resources for caregivers and also folks who think, oh, maybe I might be having some early signs. Let me check it out and see what I can find out if I need to move further in the process.
And while there's no cure for it, there are some treatments available, and your support groups and your organization is prepared to talk to them about some of those options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also I think another big thing is the caregivers, their family members, helping them to go through this. How to talk to someone with Alzheimer's disease. A lot of times they're saying, well, my dad keeps saying the same thing and I keep telling him, this isn't how it is, or your mother's already died, and there's no reason to do that. So really it's putting some empathy in there and helping them through the process.
Now, you're not a government agency. Which
we are not.
You're not
501c3.
for profit, so
Mm-hmm.
you have to raise some money, and raising money does not have to be just not fun. There's actually some fun associated with the current one you have coming up.
Yes. We have two signature events throughout the year. One is the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and that's huge. That'll take place in October. The one that's coming up that we're really excited about as well, it's a different level. It's a smaller event. The walk is huge, and those are across the country, in fact. But the Memory Ball, which is Dancing Stars of Frederick, coming up, that'll be on Saturday, April 21st. And it's going to be at the Walkersville Social Hall. It's very nice. We fixed that up very nice. It's a nice facility. And basically what that is we feature 9 to 12 couples, dancing couples, who they're selected for their leadership in the community and also their commitment or dedication to the cause. So you do have a lot of people with a personal cause there.
And you vote by supporting the couple.
You vote. You can vote beforehand online for these dancers. You can send in a donation that way. You can buy tickets to attend the event, and you can vote at the event. So $1 is a vote, and there are different prizes there. So we have, obviously, there's a dance competition where they're judged, so they can win a judge's award. But then also the You're Our Star Award for fundraising, their efforts there.
Once again, the dates?
The date of that will be Saturday, April 21st, and it includes dinner, so it's a cocktail hour dinner, dancing with a great band, and then the dance competition, and it starts at 6 o'clock at the Walkersville Social Hall.
The phone number again.
Phone number, probably best to just reach us directly, as opposed to that would be 301-696-0315.
Pam, thanks for taking time to appear on our program.
Thank you, my pleasure.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation strives to be a forward-thinking organization.
We are assessing needs, working with donors to see things differently,
so that Frederick County can be its best. It's a wonderful place for all of us to live, work, and play.
We look forward to addressing the future needs of the community.
Visit frederickcountygives.org and learn how you can start to see things differently too.
Albright, Crumbacker, Mal, and Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services, including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on contemporary retirement. This segment focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Christian Wright, President of Wright Gardner Insurance. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Thank you, Michael.
You know, interestingly enough, both you and I approach the insurance world in a very similar manner. That it's not about selling coverages that you don't need. It's about making sure your premium dollars are effectively used and you have the coverages that you do need.
Right, and that's important. We preach that week in and week out here.
And because you're an independent agent, you really have the flexibility to look at any kind of carrier that you're representing to try to identify which carrier best addresses the issues of the individual, not one size fits all.
Exactly, and unfortunately I think too many insurance agents out there do try to have a one-size-fits-all approach, and it just doesn't work. I mean, you know, we don't wear the same size clothing, so it's different for each person. So same with insurance, and you're right, the different insurance companies provide different coverages or are very good at one thing and one's better at something else.
And so you're telling me that 40-page document that you get isn't exactly the same from each carrier?
It's not. There are a lot of pages in the documents that are standard or standardized, but even in that there's different standardizations. So, but no, it's not all the same. Absolutely not.
And the insurance industry is a business, and they pick and choose the things that they choose to cover. And the reality is that many times these things are not apples to apples, even though you might be looking at a premium and the numbers being the same.
Exactly, and there's a lot of very good reasons for that. And unfortunately, policyholders don't always understand. Maybe it's because their agent doesn't explain to them what items are not covered, what types of losses are not covered, and then the assumption is, well, I'm covered. And we've talked about it before, insurance companies, if they're in business to make money, but if they don't have to pay a claim, they're not going to. I mean, they're there to pay legitimate claims, and legitimate is defined as if it's covered by the policy language.
Well, one of the big issues that you and I have as we deal with people is a failure to understand a gap in people's coverages. So oftentimes as we have our constituency aging in place, they start bringing in-home caregivers. And their assumption is that their liability policy on their homeowner's policy is going to cover for any injuries that that in-home caregiver might have.
Yeah, and that is absolutely not true. And that's
before we get any further, we want to distinguish this from an agency that brings a professional agency. They do have coverages, and you shouldn't have any issue there.
Sure.
But it's when you hire that neighbor, friend, or relative to come into your house.
Exactly, and you're right. Typically, a business engaged in providing care, you know, they have to be certified, qualified by the state, and part of that qualification is making sure that they have workers' compensation insurance on employees. So if they're injured while working in your home, they're covered. But you're right; it's the individual, and it's in-home care. And just to make sure that your viewers understand, it could be a yard person cleaning up leaves. It could be the person that you hire to clean your home on a weekly basis or monthly basis, and you pay them cash. And they're not associated with with a business.
And that's really where the great risk lies, because people will say, well, they're an independent contractor. And I might arguably say, I don't tell my lawn guy how to mow the lawn or anything else. I don't tell him how many hours to be there or anything else. He might arguably be an independent contractor. But you go to the other extreme, you tell that in-home caregiver they're to be there 8 hours a day, they're to be there at 8 in the morning, you know, leave at 4 in the afternoon. These are the things that you're to do. It's clear, they're an employee. Right. Call them anything you want, but they're an employee.
They're an employee, and number one, employees are not covered, are excluded from the liability insurance that's part of your home.
You're not covered.
Are not covered, not covered.
Let's make it clear.
Make sure I said that. Okay.
All
right.
They're injured on the job. You know, they're helping mom. Mom slips. They wrench their back. That is not going to be covered by your liability.
absolutely not.
And people say, well, they won't turn me in. And the answer is, you're probably right. They won't turn you in. But what happens? They go to the emergency room, they tell the doctor how they're injured, and that immediately excludes them from coverage.
Right, right. And then what's going to happen is, okay, so who's going to pay those medical bills? Who's going to pay? Let's just say it's really bad, Michael, and they can't work again. Who's going to pay their loss of income? And that's what that policy that we've talked about before is there to do, and that's the domestic work comp policy.
And they're telling the truth means it excludes them from your liability policy, but it also excludes them from their own health insurance policy as well.
Absolutely.
And so now the person that hired them is responsible for those expenses.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And health insurance is not designed for on the work
related
job
injuries. Yeah.
Related injuries. So yeah, you're exactly right. And that is the gap that we've talked about many times. It's solvable, but that's something that your viewers need to be aware of.
It's called a domestic workers' comp policy, surprisingly inexpensive.
It is. It's surprisingly inexpensive. One of the other fallacies I think it's important to just note is that many times when we talk to clients, they say, well, you know, am I going to have to now pay payroll tax on this person? No. If you buy a workers' compensation policy, a domestic work comp policy, the insurance company doesn't turn in anything to the IRS. So that should not be a concern. It's more about protecting yourself from that claim against you.
Well, and I have one even though I withhold, and the reason is because a state comes in and says they're an independent contractor, well, they're covered under my liability policy. If the state comes in and says they're employee, they're covered under my workers' comp. It's really not my problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. That independent contractor relationship, Michael, it's so important also for your viewers to understand. By definition, there needs to be a contract. So typically, absent of a contract, they're not an independent contractor. But
as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the show, Chris.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just this simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.